You can take a good employee. I could go to Starbucks or another dental office, whatever, and hire a rock star employee. I can bring them into my practice. And if I have a crappy culture, I'm going to turn that person into a crappy person. Like they could have been a rock star, but I just squashed them into our culture. But on the flip side, you can take an average employee and put them in an amazing culture. You guys have seen it. You guys have an amazing culture where you are.
Yep.
You can take an average employee and make them a rock star because of the environment they're in.
This is Growth in Dentistry, a dental intelligence podcast where we ask the question, what does growth in dentistry look like to you? I'm Katie Colson, a dental hygienist and your host.
Before we get started, I wanted to invite you to join our Facebook Dental Intel community. Come join like-minded data nerds and come learn from one another. Also, if you have a question for our CEO, Weston Lunsford, you can go to our Dental Intel page and record one. He will answer those on an upcoming question and answer episode. Now on to our show today. Today is a continuation of our great interview with Laura Nelson from Front Office Rocks discussing conflict with patients, staff, and improving culture to avoid burnout, which is a really hot topic now. Also, in this episode, learn what growth in dentistry means to Laura Nelson. It's great information. Stay tuned. Well, let's switch gears a little bit to dealing with conflict with staff. And this is one of those, I'm sure that many of the principles that we talked about with patients can be translated to both of them. But my dad was a dentist, my brother's a dentist, and I see the other side of dealing with staff conflict and what it does emotionally to them. And it's probably one of the hardest things or issues that when they arise that they have to deal with. And we're talking about burnout this season, and I would bet that dealing with staff drama leads to burnout really, really quickly for a lot of these people. So much so that I feel, and this probably is a generalization, but a lot of dentists, they just have their office managers just deal with the staff drama, right? Because they just don't even want to deal with it. It's just their way of dealing with the drama. So let's dive into staff drama. And you have helped so many practices with culture and staffing. So we'd like to pick your brain for the rest of this episode. And what do you think the root causes are for staffing issues in the practice?
Well, if we've got about culture. 4 hours, then I'll talk about it.
Right. I know. We'll have you on for more than one episode. We're grateful. But that's why we've got you. We've got a continuation of Laura Nelson.
Exactly. So let me back up and just kind of tell my history if anybody doesn't know. I was married to a dentist. That's how I got into dentistry. So I met a guy in undergrad. He went to dental school. I went and got my master's degree. I got my master's degree in organizational development, which is basically change management, helping teams, helping businesses go from A to B. And didn't want to do that for a living, but ended up doing it in the dental industry because I married dentistry. So it's all good, right? Yeah. But I have a lot of education and training in all of this. And then I got thrown into dental when he opened a dental office. Now, I was married to him all through dental school. And so I know how much training they gave the dentists about how to deal with the teams, how to hire, how to fire, how to manage. None, right? They didn't give the dentist any training. And now my disclaimer is just, the new name change. I'm Laura Nelson. I've been Laura Hatch. I'm no longer married to the dentist, but I'm still married to dentistry. But 21 years of being a dental spouse. So I know what it's like to be on both sides or on all the sides, because I was married to the dentist. So I know how dentists typically want to handle conflict. I was an office manager, which is a middle manager in a corporate environment. You're the middle manager, which means you're not the boss and you're not the team. You're in the middle, and your job is to fulfill the vision, to move the team, to make the practice move to where the dentist wants it to go. But you're not one of the team members, and that's a lonely place to be. I'll tell you. And then I've been a team member, right? I've worked in other practices. I know what it's like to be a team member working for somebody else who's like, middle manager and manager. So I've seen the whole thing. And here's the problem. Again, first of all, we don't train our teams well enough how to have difficult discussions. Our dentist, again, they didn't get the training in dental school, and most dentists, not all dentists, but most dentists prefer to just ignore the conflict, to cover their eyes and look away. They didn't go to dental school to deal with women drama. And I'm not just saying women, but we are a woman dominated industry, but we got plenty of men who cause drama. I'm not saying it's just women. Dental office managers, I mean, there's a great organization. I know you guys are affiliated with them too, American Association of Dental Office Management, ADOM, but they've not been around forever either. And we don't go to dental office manager university either. So I know when I started, there was no resources in this area of how to deal with drama in the teams. And then the team members, you know, they come on and they want to be the best dental assistant, the best hygienist, the best receptionist, but they're not trained in any of this. So we've got a bunch of people under one roof who have the best intention, who have the best goal. They really want to help. They really are here to, I mean, we all care about people. That's why we're in this industry. Sure. And then we get into a very stressful environment. You know, we get into an environment where we work in departments, we work in pockets, we work in areas where one doesn't know what the other one's doing. Most of the time we're not cross-trained. We are run by a schedule. So when the schedule goes bad, we all get frustrated. We run a tight ship, most of us, really fast-paced. Everybody's run on the schedule. We have customers. We talked about this before. We have customers who don't like coming to our businesses. So of course we're going to have drama. Of course we're going to have stress. And the problem with drama and these issues is that once it starts, if you don't handle it, it grows like a fungus. Yeah. It just becomes part of the environment. So I read a book and I highly recommend this. It's called Culture Trumps Everything. I can get you guys the author's name, but the book is Culture Trumps Everything. And it was a change for me to really understand the dental office with regards to what is going on. So it's kind of like a garden. If we have a garden, when you plant a garden, you're going to plant the seeds and water it, and the flowers are going to grow and it's going to be amazing. And so imagine your culture is like a garden. Well, once you plant the garden, you can't just walk away and expect it to continue to grow. You still have to water it and pull the weeds and feed it and all of that, right? Well, that's the same as our offices. You know, we can fix our culture. So no more drama, no more gossip, no more stress, no more. And then we can't just go, well, that's it. It's done. We're never going to have it again, because tomorrow is going to be another stressful day. And somebody's going to come in and their kid was up all night and they were sick and they're moody. And now we got to deal with it. And then the patient's going to come in and yell at it. So we've got to continually be working on our culture, because that is what we deal with every day. And that's where a lot of the drama and the stress comes from. So it's not, and I was going to say, it's not one person. Sometimes it is one person. We find we have pot stirrers that we have to work on, but overall it's the environment first, which is the first step of dealing with, you know, getting rid of that type of environment.
So I have my master's in communication and I studied organizational communication. So that's kind of a little bit the same. And when you talk about the managers being the middle management, so I did my thesis and I studied the out group, and that's really where the office manager sits. They are in the out group. There's the assistants, they're in one group, or the back office, and the dentist is in an out group. So we have like two out groups and an in group. And that just creates for really poor communication. And so, so it's just kind of this natural like drift. So definitely being able to help with that. I like that a lot, but also that it's like a fungus for sure. And there can be one person that, and you just have to recognize it and get rid of it. Just like pull the weed, get the weed out, or fix a problem. Yeah.
And I would say though, the thing is that, the weed, what I would suggest, I have a whole template of how to eliminate drama in the dental office. And it doesn't start with that weed, even though everybody on the team is going, she's the weed, he's the weed. It's that person. There's a good chance it is, but it's also, first you got to fix the environment. You got to fix that. You've got to have meetings. You've got to have open door communication. Doctors have to be vulnerable. They have to be transparent. They have to communicate. Office managers have to get training. Doctors need to support office managers. Office managers need to support doctors. Office managers, you can't get into the everyday gossip stuff because you're not in that group. Yeah, you're not in that group. We've got to cross train our team, because I remember a hygienist who said to me when she was a hygienist, she thought we did nothing in the front but sit on our butts and answer phones. Candy.
Yeah.
When she became a consultant, she was like, holy crap, I didn't realize how much, can I say all that? I didn't realize how much you guys do up front, right?
Right. It's true.
And I say, I'm front office rocks, right? I'm all about front office. I still think our dental assistants are the hardest workers in the entire practice. I mean, our dental assistants have it harder than anyone, even though I'm front and I'm saying that. So we couldn't do this without the entire team. So
yeah.
We've got to change all of that. We've got to teach our team how to communicate. We've got to write policy around this. You can't just say no gossip. There's got to be repercussions because we've said no gossip before and nobody did anything about it. And here we are again. We all know that. Once you've gone through all of these steps, then that pot stirrer is going to stand out like a sore thumb. And then they can choose to fix or not. And that's where the book comes out, Culture Trumps Everything, is that you can take a whole nother subject that's going on right now is hiring. You can't find good employees right now, right?
True. Yep.
So
Huge.
you can take a good employee. I could go to Starbucks or another dental office, whatever, and hire a rock star employee. I can bring them into my practice. And if I have a crappy culture, I'm going to turn that person into a crappy person. Like they could have been a rock star, but I just squashed them into our culture. But on the flip side, you can take an average employee and put them in an amazing culture. You guys have seen it. You guys have an amazing culture where you are.
Yep.
You can take an average employee and make them a rock star because of the environment they're in. So when I hear people say there's no good people out there, I would get that Starbucks I drove through this morning. I would hire the girl that gave me my coffee, who was amazing. And I'd put her in the front office in a great culture and I'm going to make her a rock star. There's good employees out there, but you got to have the culture to support it. So there's so much to that, right? That really makes the change in your practice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. It rings true. Seth Godin, I don't know if you've read anything by Seth Godin. He's a marketing, I mean, I don't know, anybody in marketing knows who Seth Godin, and he says, people like us do things like, and then XYZ, right? So it's just like that. If you can create a policy on like, this is what we look like. This is what, my office, this is what Legacy Dental looks like. These are people like us do this. Right. And then everybody rises to that level.
Right.
Right. And then, like you said, the people that don't want to look like that, they might just weed themselves out.
Well, and maybe it's just not a good culture fit. Like you were saying, like we want people who are like-minded with our culture, and that's where you build that.
But there's a lot, again, this is looking in the mirror. So not to be like, every one of us is part of this. We are all part of the culture. Right. And we are all responsible for this. And so you can't sit back and wait for the doctor or the office manager to fix this. We have got to come together as a team. And it means when, you guys come to me and you want to tell me some juicy gossip about something that happened this morning, I have to say, you know what, we're not doing that anymore, right? We've decided not to do that if and walk away. And it's hard because when somebody goes, hey, I got something to tell you, you're like, what? Next thing you know, we're back in it again.
Yes,
right?
That's so true.
So it takes the whole team and everybody is a leader on the team.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing to that note is when you, at least I found this, I mean, I've been a girl, I've been a teenage girl. And when you really look at the flip side that like, if I'm telling someone this piece of information, regardless of how juicy it is, I'm giving them some responsibility that maybe they don't want, maybe they don't need. Maybe something's happening in their personal life that they just really cannot handle one more thing. And if I'm giving them this responsibility, I'm also passing on a little bit more in their life as well that they might not be interested in. So if you kind of flip it, I mean, it's a great story. Yeah, we kind of want to share it. But if we even take a step back and think that I may not want to pass that on.
And think about why you're doing it. What's the point of it? But recognizing it and culture changes for sure. It's hard. People talk about culture constantly. You're coaching on it constantly. I mean, it's a hard thing to do. And you need people. You need people like Laura to come and help you do it.
It's kind of like, I kind of think of it like weight loss, but it's not weight loss. Like you can go to the gym, you can go to the gym all day long, but that doesn't mean you're going to get healthy. Right. Getting healthy means change the way you eat, change the way you get up in the morning, go to the gym, take supplements, like changing your culture, getting rid of drama. And it's the first step is just recognizing we don't like where we work. I mean, that's the thing is like,
Yeah.
We used to love coming to work every day. We love being in the dental office. But if you're dragging your feet on Monday morning going, oh, I should have worked at a donut shop versus, working in a dental office. Well, it's not about the dentistry. I mean, we like the dentistry, hopefully. It's about the culture. And we spend, not last year, but going forward, hopefully, we're back to spending more time with our dental families than we do with our own families. So don't lower yourself to just go to work, get a paycheck and go home. Like, let's find a way to get through the day where we can like it. And there's going to be stress. There's going to be, I mean, we have emergencies, we have procedures that go wrong. We have bad patients. We have all of that stuff. So you can't get rid of the stress in the office, but you can learn how to work on it, work together as a team on it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that was so insightful.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Well, we can have you on forever and always. Just come and podcast with us constantly. We're so grateful. We're so grateful that you could come hang out with us today. So at the end of our podcast, of every podcast and our guests, we ask the same question. And that is about growth, because growth is so personal and it means something different to everyone. And we're all about growth here at Dental Intelligence. So what does growth in dentistry look like to you?
Well, that's a big question. I would say that, because I come from the team perspective.
Yeah, right.
That's completely, for me, it's, if you're not happy, don't do it, is one of my philosophies in life. Like, if you're not happy, don't do it. And what I mean by that, there's two parts to this. First is, if you're not happy, don't do it. Meaning, if you don't like what you're doing, change it. Find out, like, if you feel like you're not doing as much as you can in the practice, then go talk to the doctor and the office manager. Go find out, where can you get more education? What podcasts can you listen to? Who can you connect with? So make it, or, find fun. And if it's not fun, don't do it. What's your attitude about it? Like, if you're deciding if this is fun or not, you could show up to work. I mean, don't wait for, like I said, the office manager or the doctor to change the culture. Let's do it. Let's get in here and have some fun. Nobody looks back and wishes they worked more in a bad environment. Nobody looks back to, we all got in this industry because we care about people. Otherwise we wouldn't be here still. Yeah. So let's find ways to make it fun, and if you have fun, it doesn't matter. You could be a dental assistant, hygienist, front office, whatever. Just you enjoy your work, because it's a long haul if you get to the end of this and you didn't like what you were doing. So that's growth for me, I guess.
I think that's perfect. Well, perfectly said, especially for those that, financial growth is, at the helms of somebody else in dentistry, sure, but you can grow personally, for sure. And the one thing that I was going to talk about before, but we'll just tack on to this because it's intersects just great, is the fact that a lot of people through the pandemic and then came back after the shutdown, and like, they had to take a really good look at themselves. Yeah. Like, am I growing? Am I growing in this environment? Am I happy? If not, what are we going to do to change it? So
I think that this pandemic has made, I halfway, now we're on a whole new topic here, but I'm going to add this on.
No, you're okay. Go for it. You're
halfway
fine.
Through last year, I had to step away from social media in the dental groups because it was so pathetic.
Yeah.
It was so sad last year. And I think that the pandemic across the board has had the major shakeup for our industry and probably others. I don't hang out in the restaurant chats or anything like that. But here's the thing. I saw some amazing dental leaders. I saw some amazing leaders last year, some dentists who were like, we're going to do the best we can for our team. We're going to do Zoom calls. We're going to do training. We're going to be there for each other. And I saw some really crappy dentists who I saw team members say they haven't heard from their dentist in 3 months. That's just sad, right? Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, I saw some amazing team members stepping up who are like, you don't have to pay me. I will do training. I'll do everything we can. I'll call our patients. And then I saw some really bad ones who are like, I get paid more at unemployment than I do going to work. I'm not going to work. So we're at a spot now, like you said, it's time, like, you can rebuild. We got a wake up call. It's a good chance to say, who do I want on my team? What doctor do I want to work for? What do I want to do to make a difference? How can I, if you came out of this, I was joking saying most people are going to come out in AA or Weight Watchers. If you should have come out of this with a lesson.
I'm the latter with my COVID-19, my freshman 19.
Exactly. I'm hoping you didn't come out with a lesson, a life lesson or an employment lesson or a team lesson. Go back and look for it, because this was I think our big wake up call to say, hey, it's a chance to do it the right way. There's so many dentists. I talk to dentists who've been doing this 20, 30, 40 years and they hate it. And I'm like, why? Like, you can fix this. This is your practice,
For sure. Yeah. If you didn't learn anything through the pandemic, then that's on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I really feel like you should take a good look at yourself and look back and think, what are the things that I can change for sure? Yeah.
I used to, during the pandemic, I was doing a bunch of Zoom, opportunity. I called it opportunity time webinars and stuff. And I was talking about the stresses that we had last January. What stressed you out in your practice last January? What did you go home worried about last January? Don't allow that to sneak back into your practice this year. So if last January it was gossip and drama and all of that, and then hopefully your team has come together and been like, we're a great team and we really did it for the patients and we got through the pandemic. Yay. Well, life's going to get normal again soon. If it's not already. It's going to get, and then guess what's going to come back? Drama and gossip and conflict and all that. So this is a great time to catch it, because if a year from now you're dealing with what you were dealing with 2 years ago, then shame on you. You can really make a difference now. So
I love that, but it takes work, and it takes taking a little bit of time out of clinically treating people and making a change for sure.
I have a book called Step Away from the Drill specifically for that.
Okay.
Because dentists.
We'll link to that in our show notes.
Yeah, exactly. I have 2 books, Step Away from the Drill and Hiring Without Hesitation. Because dentists haven't been trained in how to hire well, and hiring the right team members makes a huge difference. And then you can't fix your practice on production only. You can't just production. You've got to have meetings. You got to have communication. You've got to give CE. You've got to give your team time to do training. So, you've got to learn to step away from the drill.
Yeah, which is a lot harder said than done.
Can I add one more thing? Since people are listening, our DI clients?
Yes, absolutely.
I've seen this happen so many times. This is why I want to add this in here. When and if you are looking at doing metrics in your practice, or you have metrics in your practice, I know a lot of people who will get it and then not use it, or stress it out, or say it didn't work, stress their team out. Don't come in with everything you see in DI and tell your team we're fixing it all.
Yes.
Or here are all the problems that we have in the practice. We have all of these problems. Your team's going to hate you.
and they're going to hate dental intelligence.
And they're not going to want to fix
Yeah.
anything. Yeah. I was in, not to tell on or whatever, but I was in my dental office that I go to, and I know they have DI in there, and I know it was up 6 months ago I guess it'd be 9 months ago because of everything. And it was up on the hygiene monitor. I saw it up there and I was like, oh, DI, right? And then I went in recently and I said, hey, you guys aren't using DI anymore. And she goes, oh, I don't know. They stopped we don't really talk about it anymore. So I know they have DI in there, but they didn't implement it well, right? So my point is here, pick a metric, pick a good one, pick a bad one, highlight the good one. Look at how great we're doing. And then let's focus on this one area that we want to improve. Let's not overwhelm the team. Make it a team tool, not the doctor tool. This isn't a doctor program. This
Absolutely.
is for the team.
Yeah.
There's so many, and I know you guys have so many resources and stuff, but I'm just a huge fan. But I also know that, there's so many times dentists come in with a new shiny tool and then the team's like, and then we don't
just
use
give him 30 days. He'll get over it and then it will go away.
Yeah,
sure. For sure.
I was speaking and the girl said to me, as I was talking about implementing stuff, she said, we have a 9-day rule in our office. And I said, what do you mean a 9-day rule? She said, the dentist goes to a seminar, they come back, we give him 9 days. If he's still talking about it, then we'll take it seriously.
It's so true. Right? It's so true. Yeah. And and I see this in whatever data analytics, we think Dental Intel is the best because that's where we're at. Whatever data analytics software you use, or whatever software you're going to implement, that's a great, we've implemented so many softwares and it's so easy to just get overwhelmed. So just taking it a step at a time. And also, for those of you that are customers, our mobile app, I sing praises to the mobile app all the time because as a hygienist and the back office in general, you really can make yourself a leader because you have the tools in your hand. You can see them right before. You can be accountable for what you produce, it's just being able to have the data just allows you to do that. So,
well, and I'm the same with Front Office Rocks. So I'm not saying that this is just because at Front Office Rocks, people sign up with us and then they don't use it and then they cancel 3 or 6 months later. And it's because you've got to invest in your team and you've got to train them and you've got to give them time to use the tools. Mm-hmm. So you can't just turn DI on and say, here, go. It's overwhelming. I remember the first time we were looking at it in our practice and my associate dentist, she said, every time I look at it, I get a headache. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, let's do a different view for you so you can look at what's important to you. So you can't just, it'd be like me trying to become healthy. There's like 96 things I need to do to become healthy, right? Mm-hmm. Pick one. I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. Great. Yes.
Exactly.
And it's the same with Front Office Rocks. People give it to their team and they're like, here, do training. And then the team's like, awesome. When? How?
Right. What? Yeah, exactly. What time? Yeah.
You've got to invest in the team and train them and give them the time to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and one thing, Laura, that you hit the nail right on the head. What's important to you? That team member has something that's important to them individually that's going to benefit the practice, but it's also going to help benefit them personally. What kind of personal growth are they looking for that professionally will also help your practice? Right. And how can we focus individually with team members, bring that fulfillment back to also prevent that burnout from happening? Because when they're getting growth, they're not burning out.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
Well, and the other thing too is sometimes we show our team members the metrics, but we don't ask them, what can you do about it?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. It's not helpful to have numbers.
Yeah.
You have to, I mean, we love numbers, but but we're not selling features here. We're selling solutions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you need.
We used to, I've been working with DI for a while now, and we used to say, what's the point? Because at Front Office Rocks, we do training, but we don't do metrics. We don't say, you're at this number, we're going to help you get to this number. We just have training videos and you guys have metrics. And we used to say, what's the point of training without metrics? And what's the point of metrics without training? Like, there's no point of getting on the scale and saying, wow, I'm 10 pounds overweight. Okay. And then walking away. Like, what are you going to do about that? But there's no point of going to the gym in my mind and not tracking, like, I went to the gym 3 times this week, or I got on the scale, I lost 2 pounds, or whatever it is. You've got to have both. You've got to have the training and the metrics to make it work.
Yeah. Well, that was a great little wrap up. Thanks for doing that for us.
I'm just, because I talk to people all the time and I know how dentists are. They bring it in, they say, go. And then the team's like, with what? We don't have any time. How are we going to do this?
I know.
I don't want to be measured by numbers. And
I know a lot of people, this is the first time they've ever seen data like this.
A lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. And on top of that, just to preach the choir, I know that there's a lot of old school office managers who know their software better than anybody else. And they can get that number. Like I was teasing earlier, like I can pull 4 reports, add these numbers, divided by this, put this variable on it, and here's my percentage. Yeah, we can do that. I could do that. I could pull reports, but why? Why not just let the software do it for me? And I know I hear a lot of times too that like, well, it's not right. Well, then that's not the software. It's your practice management software. There's junk in there. Let's clean it up. Let's get the numbers fixed. And then, so I would rather know it's not my scale's broken. I'd rather know my scale's broken and get a new scale. Right?
Maybe that's my problem at home.
There you go. You need I saw a speaker who calls it post-COVID, and he called it POCO, #POCO. I need a POCO scale.
I need a POCO scale. I'll see if I can find one of those on Amazon.
You do, let me have one of those. Give me one too.
Well, this has been Growth in Dentistry, a Dental Intelligence podcast. Special thanks again to our guest, Laura Nelson from Front Office Rocks. You can find her at laura@frontofficerocks.com. Her link and the links to her books will be in our show notes, and you can also find that information on our website and other great, awesome information on our webpage, dentalintel.com. Thank you to Atia again for being with me today, and our amazing marketing department for all their help on this episode. I'm Katie Polson. Keep growing.